Hello friends, it's me again Hesti. Welcome back to another reading journal video. Today I'm so excited to bring you along as I create book review spread for everything I read in February and March. For my 2025 reading journal, I'm trying something a little special. I want each book review spread to match the color palette of the book's cover. I also want the overall layout to visually represent the story. I'm a very visual person, so my goal is that just by looking at each spread, I can instantly remember what the book was about, almost like a snapshot of the whole experience. When it comes to my review, I usually focus more on how the book made me feel, what I like, what I didn't quite land for me, and who I think would really enjoy it. Since I don't always have a ton to say, especially if a book feels okay, I don't need a lot of writing space for each review. Alright, let's dive into the first spread I'm working on today. For this one, I printed out a bunch of images that match the aesthetic of the book. I'm going for a fun 90s scrapbook style, like how people used to cut pictures out of the magazine. I searched Pinterest for photos that reminded me of the main characters and started building the vibe from there. The book is Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's the sequel to The Naturals, a series about a group of teens with extraordinary abilities who are recruited by the FBI to help solve difficult cases. It is basically like Criminal Minds, but make it YA. I actually first heard about this series over 5 years ago from Emma Books, and honestly, as a huge Criminal Minds fan, I was instantly sold. While the first book focused mostly on our female main character, this sequel shifts the spotlight to one of the male characters, Dean. It feels like each book in this series is going to dive deeper into a different member of this group of brilliant teens, which I think is such a cool approach. I ended up giving Killer Instinct 3.5 out of 5 stars. I had a good time reading it, especially because the plot twist really pulled me into the story. That said, it wasn't super memorable overall. I mostly remember the twist and some character moments, but I didn't really have those super can't put it down moments while reading it. Though to be fair, I wasn't in my peak reading mood, so that probably influenced my experience a bit. Would I still recommend the series? Absolutely. It is fast-paced, full of interesting characters, and has plenty of twists to keep you hooked. If that sounds like your thing, definitely give it a try. Now, on to my next read. It's another fast-paced mystery crime type of story, but this time it's not YA. The book is Finley Donovan Roll the Dice, the fourth book in the Finley Donovan series. Since Finley, our main character, is a writer, I made a few custom stickers to reflect her profession, like this little laptop and manuscript sticker you see here. I also included one of my favorite quotes from the book. Sometimes that means being with someone who's going to make you face what you are afraid of, because he's planning on standing right behind you, covering your back. I don't know, I just love that line. I wanted this spread to feel a little different from the previous one, so for this setup, I'm decorating around the corners and edges of the pages to create a soft layer border. Down here in the bottom left corner, I'm making a collage by layering different supplies, deco paper, washi tape, old book paper, and I'm using this retro vintage car image as the centerpiece. I found it online and thought it fit the story perfectly, since in this book, Finley and Vero take a road trip to Las Vegas and of course have one of their signature absurd adventures. Since it's the fourth book in the series, I cannot say too much about the plot without spoilers, but if you are curious, I will leave the Goodreads link down below so you can check it out. Now, to match the book cover palette, I'm working with soft light browns, whites, blacks, and pop-up of red like this little die sticker I'm adding here. I recently bought a set of super white washi tape just for project like this. For this spread, I picked a writing script design that matched the color scheme and give it that cozy, slightly vintage vibe. Then I layer it with parchment style deco paper and bits of old book pages. For the main focal point of the collage, I created a sticker of a woman wearing sunglasses and holding a book. It meant to represent Finley, a busy mom and a writer, juggling all the chaos with a touch of style. I also printed the book title on a transparent sticker because I didn't want the white edges you usually get with regular stickers. Usually, transparent sticker was a bit of a gamble for me. In the past, my print shop made them way too light, almost invisible when layered. But this time, I tried a new print shop and they turned out awesome. Back to the page. To finish it up, I added the book cover and my reading details, also printed on the transparent stickers to keep everything looking clean and cohesive. As for the book itself, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's fun, easy to digest, and has just the right amount of humor. Honestly, I went into it pretty low expectation because the third book, in my opinion, was the weakest in this series. I feel like as the series progresses, the stakes keep getting bigger and bigger, and some of the original absurdity that become the charm that made the first book so beloved has gotten a little lost. Still, each book ends with a shocking twist that leaves you needing the next one. My next read is something I picked up kind of unexpectedly. I was participating in a readathon in February, and one of the prompts was to read a book with Kiss in the title or on the cover. That's how I stumbled upon Chef Kiss by Jerry Melendez. I hadn't heard about this manga or the author before, but I'm so glad I gave it a try. For this spread, I printed the book cover in A6 size and decided to use only the left side of the paper for my review. I bought this washi tape set a while ago because I love the floral patterns, but I wasn't sure when I would ever use the bold red one, and finally I found its moment. The crimson red worked perfectly with the vibe of this manga. The layout and style of this spread are a bit different from what I usually do. I was inspired by anime style journaling spread. Even though this one looks simpler compared to my other pages, it actually took me quite a bit of time to figure out the arrangement, probably because this style is still new to me. I printed the title on a transparent sticker using a font that's pretty close to the original, and I matched the red color from the cover. Even though the main color of the book cover is light blue, printing it at a larger size made it really pop on the page, so I decided to balance that by using red and green for most of the decorations. I forgot to take a screenshot while reading on my Kindle, but I found this beautiful illustration online. This one in particular is from the special edition cover. I cropped it to focus on the character and added some spice blend graphic at the bottom. I feel like they really match the cozy kitchen vibe of the story. This graphic novel honestly felt like a palette cleanser for me. The art is absolutely lovely, which is why I wanted to feature as much of it as I could in the spread. I tend to read graphic novel in one sitting, and this one was no exception. Kitchen and baking are totally buzzwords for me. If a story includes either, I'm in. Even though it's a queer romance, I feel like the heart of the story is more about self-discovery and personal growth. The main character is going through an unexpected life transition, and a lot of the story is about navigating those changes and what people expect from you. The romance is more like a sweet touch that enhances everything else. I would definitely recommend this if you are in the mood for something fun, light, and quick to read. And if you are into cooking, you will love all the scenes set in the kitchen. There is also a lovely found family element that adds an extra layer of warmth to the story. Now we are moving on to my last read of February. For this spread, I'm back in my comfort zone, layering papers, washi tape, and sticker, which is always so satisfying. If you watch my last video, the pattern paper I'm using here might look familiar. I actually created a darker version of one of the designs from my April reading journal because I felt it matched this book vibe better. And if you haven't seen my April setup yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's honestly my favorite setup so far. I picked up this book as part of a Readathon challenge, and it was the perfect pick because it fit 5 prompts at once. It's a fantasy romance that came out last year and got popular again recently because the sequel was just released in February. Now, can you guess what it is? If you are curious about any of these supplies I'm using in this video, I've added product links in the description, including items available on my Patreon. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Hesti, and welcome to my cozy little corner where I share my love for reading and journaling. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would love you to check out my Patreon as well. I share my monthly printable stickers and journaling kits you can download and print as much as you like. I recently launched a new tier where members get a mini journaling kit every 2 weeks on top of the monthly kit. So, if you're looking to add a little something extra to your journaling pages, like the title letters I'm using in this spread, you might want to take a look. This particular letter design is similar to the one I used in my April spread, just with a different font. I'll be listing the printable version in my shop soon, so if you are in the Sherwood tier on my Patreon, you will also get it for free. Now, originally, the title letter were meant to be printed as a single piece, but since I have the digital file, I printed each word in a single line to save some time. I also created a bunch of matching elements to fit the Heartless Hunter aesthetic, like the girl sticker, the file, and the butterfly. I pulled the color palette directly from the book cover. At At the bottom of the spread, I made a simple collage. The story centered around a girl who's secretly a witch, hiding her identity in a society that had witches. By day, she's a young socialite. By night, she is a vigilante saving other witches from execution. She's known for her elegant ball gown, so I added a girl in dress sticker and a vintage scissor to hint at her double life. On the left side of the page, I created another collage using tearable paper to add texture. This paper is from the Jotting Dots, the same brand as my notebook, and I will leave the link and my discount code TBN10 down below. The paper has just a little bit of sparkle which make the whole thing feel magical. Heartless Hunter is a fantasy romance with an enemies to lover trope, so of course I had to include a couple sticker to represent the main pair. With that combination, you'd expect a swoon-worthy tension-filled story, right? Well, here's the thing. Even though this spread turned out to be my favorite of the four I made this month, Heartless Hunter ended up being my least favorite read in February. It's not that it was bad, it just didn't pull me in the way I'd hoped. I love the concept and the magic system had so much potential, but I feel like we didn't get to explore it deeply enough. I was really hoping for that intense emotional tension that comes with enemies to lover, but it just didn't land for me. I miss the angst, the inner conflicts, the should I or shouldn't I moments that usually make this drop so compelling. The plot itself had promise, but the twists were a bit too predictable for me, and the pacing felt jumpy at times, like the transition between scenes didn't flow as smoothly as they could have. That said, I don't want this sounds like I hated the book because I didn't. If you're new to fantasy romance or haven't read much fantasy before, I think you might really enjoy it. It has a fun concept, engaging tropes, and a few surprising moments. But if you're someone who reads a lot of fantasy, or you're looking for a romance heavy story, or if you love rich detailed world building like I do, it might feel a little bit underwhelming. Now that the February behind us, let's move into my March reading. Though I have to admit, March was busy. I already knew I probably wouldn't get much reading done with my birthday, my son's birthday, my mom's birthday, and then a couple of school events on top of that. But I honestly didn't expect to finish just one book, and even that, I finished it in the first week. The only book I read in March was Iron Flame, the sequel to The Fourth Wing. I feel like I don't even need to say much about this one. I think 90% of the book community, especially fantasy and romance reader, already know what this series is about. Since dragons are such a huge part of the story, I prepared a few dragon theme elements for this spread, including this pattern paper. I printed out on sticker paper to make it easier to apply. On the opposite page, I added the book cover, the reading details, and the title. I also used sticker paper for the cover, but for the text elements, I went with transparent sticker paper. It really saves time on cutting, and I love how it looks like the text is printed right on the page. Now, this dragon sticker is hands down my favorite part of the spread. It features two dragons, one black and one gold, with lightning accent. If you have read the series, you'll know exactly why this detail matters, but I won't spoil it here. To fill in the top right of the page, I layer some black washi tape with a scrap of the pattern paper I used in my Heartless Hunter spread. I added another dragon sticker there, this time just the silhouette of the two dragons. I also used my letterbox stickers again. I think I'm officially obsessed, but instead of a title, I spell out Erasia, which is a key location in the story. You might be wondering why I didn't include any character illustration in this spread like I did for the last four books. Honestly, it's because I didn't feel a strong connection to any of the characters this time around. The one I care most about in this series is actually Tyrion, the Black Dragon. That's why I included two illustrations to represent him, and most of my favorite quotes from this book are him, except for one from Zedon, the male lead. Now let's talk about the book itself. Even though I went in with pretty normal expectation, I ended up feeling a bit underwhelming by Iron Flame. It's a long book and at times the storyline felt like it was jumping around, mostly because it kept getting interrupted by Violet's inner monologues. Maybe it's just her POV that didn't work for me. The plot itself is interesting. That's actually what kept me reading right after Tyrion. He's still my favorite part on the series though. Honestly, if he were human, I think I would officially declare him as my book boyfriend. The way he loves Violet, how loyal and protective he is, but also push her to grow, it totally stole my heart. That said, I ended up giving this book 3 stars. Will I continue the series? Probably yes. If only because I want to see how it all ends. This is the last spread I'm setting up in this video and it's for all the books I'm currently reading. If you watch my February reading journal setup, you might remember that I joined 2 readathons and had over 10 books on my TBR. But in the end, I only finished 4. That said, I actually did start almost all the books on that list. As a mod reader who reads multiple books at once, this happened a lot. I'm great at starting books, not always so great at finishing them. So, the problem right now isn't really my never ending TBR, it's the current read list that getting out of control. According to Goodreads, I have 53 books marked as currently reading. Some of those might be all and finished because I haven't updated my Goodreads in months, so I would say it's overcount by 10%, but still, that's a huge number. As for the layout, it is super simple. Actually, one of the quickest spread I put together for this video. I just layer a few neutral tone pattern paper to keep the background look nice so the book cover really stand out. And for the title, I went with this fun cutout style font that give it an old magazine scrapbook vibe. I love how it turned out. So, I'm officially on a mission to work through the books I've already started. For this spread, I picked 12 books that I'm actively trying to finish. All of them are at least 30% read, and some are past the 60% mark. I printed out the book covers on sticker paper and arranged them across the pages. Once I finish each one, I'll add a sticker with my rating right on top of the cover. That's the setup. Let me give you a quick flip through. I always enjoy creating book spread like this because it brings back memories of my reading experience, but I have noticed that I'm not really the type of reader who gives critical reviews. I tend to focus more on how the book made me feel. And sometimes I wonder if people are even interested in that kind of reflection, which is probably why I don't do this off spread more often. What do you think? Should I make more video like this? I would really love to hear your thoughts in the comment. If you're new here and you love reading and journaling, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. That way I know it is something you like to see more of. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye friends.